I've been in retail sales since I was 18 years old, and I started working for a telecommunications company where I sold wireless products and services. And my first year with this company, in my late teenage years, I made high five figures. My second year with this company, I nearly made six figures, and my third year and on, I made over six figures every single year, ending in the top in the market and nearly the top for the entire country of salespeople. And that wasn't because of natural ability, that wasn't because of education, it wasn't because of background. And once I started to move up into leadership with this company and I started to train salespeople, after I trained over 1,000 salespeople, I found the tips and strategies and the techniques and the factors and the variables that took somebody from being simply average in sales to being extraordinary in retail sales. And in this episode, I want to share with you what some of those factors are, notably the 3 top factors that will help you to be extremely successful in retail sales and really sales in general. So let's get right to it. Listen, I respect you because you could have chosen any job that would deliver you some level of certainty, some level of knowing exactly how much money you're going to be making every single month, but you chose retail sales. You chose an environment of uncertainty. You chose an environment where you get to determine your income, which can be a beautiful thing if you're a self-driven individual with some level of significance drive, which I'll talk about. But the downside of commission sales is if you don't have a strong enough why, if you don't have a strong enough reason, then it might be difficult for you. And the reason I say that is, number one, sales is difficult for everybody, right? We're dealing with human beings here. We're dealing with human nature. We're dealing with influence. Influencing someone else's point of view, influencing them to either want or need your product, and even uncovering problems that people didn't even know they had, and then convincing them that your product and or service is going to fill that need. But the thing about retail sales and any sales in general is it resets every single month. The leaderboard goes back to 0. And you've heard the old adage of you're only as great as your last month. This is why a lot of old school salespeople get in the groove of talking about the old days, but they're not performing now like they performed then. And I found that that is a result of them losing focus of what is most important to them. You see, you have to have at the front of your mind what's most important for you. Because if you don't, when that board resets, when the leaderboard goes back to 0 and you're the same as everybody else on your team, then what's going to motivate you to step up to the bat? What's going to motivate you to go into the store environment or the retail environment? Or if you are in outside sales and you're watching this video, what's going to motivate you to pick up that phone and start calling people from the phone book or from your list of leads? What's going to keep you going through the hard times? And what I found from being in sales since I was 18 years old is you have to sell the most important person of all, first things first. And who is that person? Well, it's you. When you look in the mirror every single day, when you're getting ready in the morning, that person that you see looking back at you is the person and the entity that you have to sell before you can go into the store or pick up the phone. Because if you're not sold on the reason why you're doing what it is you're doing, it's going to be very hard for you to be successful in sales, retail sales, or really anything for that matter. And you might be asking, well, Brandon, what is this thing that I'm selling myself on? And the answer is, why are you in sales in the first place? Why did you choose an environment where you get to determine your income? Why did you choose an environment where you could make $0 in a day, 2 days, 3 days? If you're in a longer sales cycle, you might be making $0 for a month, even if you're maybe in real estate, 6 months without having a sale, depending on the style of real estate you're in, or depending on the style of sales you're in general. So why did you decide to be in this environment where you get to determine your destiny? Probably because you know that you are worth it. You know that you're somebody who can self-motivate. You know that you're somebody who trusts in themselves and trusts in your abilities. So be sure, every single day before you leave your house, motivate yourself. I do this in several different ways. I'll do this with motivational tapes, especially back in the day. I'll do this by listening to music that's going to put me in a great state of mind before I go into that environment or before I even pick up the phone in the first place. Or something even greater is thinking about the reason why you're doing it all in general. Is it to deliver amazing experiences for your family? Is it so that you can build up such a big book of business that you might not even have to go into a retail location 3 or 5 years down the road? Maybe you can live off of the residual income that you're earning from this sales position because you were focused for 5 years, 10 years, and now you can sit back and reap the benefits and continue to maintain those relationships rather than build new ones. You have to remember the reason why you signed up to do sales in the first place. Being in commissioned retail sales, you would think that most people knew exactly how much money they wanted to earn as their goal. You would think that people knew exactly how much money they needed to survive each month. Because if you don't know how much money you need to survive, then how can you determine how much money you want as your end goal? Really, it comes back to the why, the main reason why you're in sales in the first place. So since you're commission-based, how can you make the most of that? How can you take advantage of this peculiar situation that you're in for yourself? Well, you have to know your numbers. You have to know how much money you need to survive, and you have to know how much money you want to create a magnificent lifestyle for yourself. And I created a chart that I want to share with you. So I'd recommend have a piece of paper and a pen handy, because I want you to follow along with me as we do this so that you can properly know your numbers. I want you to think of this chart as your survival and your magnificent income planner. And I don't want you to be intimidated by this. It's really only 2 different pieces that we're going to take a look at. And the first piece here in red is your survival income. This is the amount of money you need each month in order to simply pay the bills, put food on the table, and survive at the lowest level possible, right? This is like, think about this as your ramen noodle diet. All right, this is just your survival income. We have to know what we need to survive in order to look at what our income goals truly are. And on the right-hand side, we've got your magnificent income planner. And the magnificent income is where we really dig into your dreams. We really dig into the reason you got into commission sales in the first place, which is to determine the amount of money you want to earn so that you can reach the heights in your life that you want to experience, whether it's vacations or investments or a new home, a new car, whatever it may be. So let's take a look at the survival income first. And I recommend you have a pen and paper to go along with this. And if you're simply listening to this, I'm going to guide you through it audibly as well. On the left-hand side here, this is what we need to survive. And on the left-hand side, we have things such as your rent or your mortgage, which for the sake of this example, we'll say is $1,000 a month. And then we have insurances, whether it's your car insurance, your health insurance, we'll put them all together. And we'll just say that those are a combined $300. We've got the food that you're going to eat throughout the month, so we'll give you a food budget of $300, assuming you're going to the grocery store, you're buying food for one person. If you're buying food for a family, this would probably be a lot more than $300, but we're just going to go with $300, assuming we're eating ramen noodles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Your car payment, we'll say $300. Your cell phone, we'll say $200. The utilities that you pay for your home, your apartment, whatever you live, water, electricity, we'll say that those are going to be $300. And other, if there's anything else that you need to simply survive, put it under the other field. We'll put $200 right there. Let's add all these up. $1,300, $1,600, $1,900, $2,100, $2,400, $2,600. So in this example, this salesperson requires $2,600 per month to simply survive, pay their bills, and get by. I've known some people whose survival income was $900 a month, and I've known other people whose survival income was $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 a month to simply survive and pay the bills. It's different for everybody. This is why you have to know your numbers. Now that you know how much you need to survive, let's take a look at the fun stuff. Let's take a look at the amount of income that's required for you to live a better life, for you, for your family, and for all the incredible things that you want to do. We've got a down payment on a new home. Now keep in mind, this is monthly. So how much money would you need to put down each month into a separate account to eventually put a down payment on the home of yours? Let's say you're saving up for 3 years and you want to put away $200 a month towards a home down payment. And let's say you want a new car as well, and you want to put a good chunk of money down on this car so that you don't need to borrow as much money from the bank when you go to finance it or when you go to lease the vehicle. So you're going to put $200 down each month to save up for the down payment on a beautiful new sports car or SUV or whatever floats your boat. Or maybe you're putting a down payment on a boat. This could be whatever you want it to be. Your magnificent lifestyle is the way you want your life to look a year from now, 5 years from now. This is what you're building your life up towards. And money helps you to do that. And then we have your experiences. What kind of vacations do you want to take? What kind of trips do you want to go on? What kind of things do you want to do with the friends in your life? Do you want to be able to buy dinner for your family since they always buy dinner for you? These are all the different experiences that you can enjoy. So how much money would you like to spend each month on fun, exciting experiences for you and yours? My example, I'm going to put $500 here. That's going to take you out to some nice restaurants. It's going to maybe allow you to take a cross-state trip or whatever it is you want to do, but you can make that number whatever you want it to be. And then we have, how do you want to invest your money? Because you're not going to achieve financial freedom by simply saving your money. It's not going to happen. Your income isn't going to create financial freedom. You have to use that money, that depreciating asset, and use it towards some kind of investment that's going to earn money for you, whether it's in the form of investing your money in stocks, in bonds, in the market, in Roth IRAs or 401ks if it's offered by your company, or you want to invest in real estate, or you want to invest in your own business or someone else's business or a startup. There's so many different avenues you can go down to invest your money, and there's a lot of other YouTube channels you can watch about that, okay? So let's say you want to invest at least, which I recommend, at least $500 to $1,000 a month in some form of investment, or you're putting that money away to be a down payment on some kind of real estate investment, or whatever it is you want to do. So I'm going to put $1,000 each month in the investment field, but you can do whatever makes sense for you. Your business, if you're operating and running a business, how much money do you want to put into this business or your side hustle on the side so that this can continue to grow and maybe even become your main income over time? So for me, I'll put at least $1,000 a month into my business, whether it's marketing or the people that I employ, whatever it may be. That's your business. Coaching. Every great person has a coach. How will you continue to educate yourself, and who's going to help you to achieve those goals? If you don't have one, I would love to be your coach, right? You can visit bebetterindustries.com to take a look at that. Or you can just reach out to me on Facebook or however else you find me. But I'll spend at least $1,000 a month on coaching in the form of mentors, in the form of online courses, in the form of different resources to help me grow, to help me learn, and to continue to help me to be better. And then savings. You want to have some kind of cash reserve, some money on the side, just in case of a rainy day, just in case of an emergency. We'll put maybe $500 each month away into this savings account, just for the sake of this example. So let's add up these numbers, because you got to know your numbers. That's why we're doing this in the first place. We've got 200, 400, 900, 1900, 2900, 3900, 4400. So we take the total here of $4,400, and now you're going to add your magnificent lifestyle number to your survival income, okay? For a grand total of this is $7,000 a month, okay? So in order to live this lifestyle, and in order to do all these awesome things that I want to do while also paying my bills and providing food for my family, so on and so forth, I have to be bringing in $7,000 a month in income. Now, you have to remember, there's taxes on top of this as well. So if you want to factor in taxes, if you're in sales, if you're in commission sales, you're probably being taxed maybe around 25 to 35, maybe 45% of your income. So take this number, times it by 0.30 or 0.45 or whatever it is. And in order to make $7,000, you might truly have to be bringing in $9,000 or $10,000 every single month in order to make that $7,000 a reality. So be sure to factor in for taxes, but as long as you followed along with this, you now know how much you need to live. You now know how much you need in order to live a magnificent lifestyle. And I challenge you to really take some time and go down this list and really have a vision of what you want your life to look like and how much money is going to be required in order to make that life a reality. But you have to know your numbers. And I would recommend follow this exercise once a quarter, or at the very least, twice every single year. Maybe one at the beginning of the year and one in June, or whenever it is you decide. You can't do this enough, because where focus goes, energy flows. The more you know where you're at financially, the more you track it, the more it will grow, and the more confident and the more certain you will become. Being in sales, let me ask you, what is the number one thing that you can control in a sales environment, whether it's retail or outside sales? Is it how many people call you? Is it how many people just happen to walk into the retail store or environment that you're in? No, it's the activity that you're putting forth each and every day in order to get in front of somebody or be in a selling position where you're able to close a deal and begin or maintain or strengthen a relationship. You see, if you're not talking to somebody who could be a client of yours, then you're not in a position to make any money. The end goal should always be not to make a sale, but to get in front of somebody and begin or strengthen a relationship to make a sale. And the number one way that you can do that is the activity that you're putting forth. Now, once you build your book of business and you've been doing this for a year, 3 years, 5 years, and beyond, then you have a book of business who are going to be sending referrals to you, and they're going to be return customers, and you're going to start to make a name for yourself. But especially at the beginning, which if you're watching this, you're probably at the beginning or the middle of your sales career with a particular company or brand or whatever it may be, and you'll have to make up for at the beginning. You'll have to make up for in quality with quantity, because you're not necessarily the most skilled salesperson yet. And you might be thinking, well, Brandon, I am skilled. That's great. Then you'll be even more effective at this. You're going to have to put forth more activity. What I found after training thousands of people, like I mentioned, is it wasn't the most skilled salespeople that earned the most income. It was the salespeople who put in the most activity. You know, the only thing that you can measure, the only thing that you can gauge in retail sales and sales in general is the activity that you're putting forth, and the activity will determine how successful you are. I've never met somebody who was putting forth hours and hours of activity and didn't get the results from it. You see, you will always reap what you sow. If you plant the seed, that seed will grow into a beautiful blossoming plant. And that plant will be in the form of income and future business for you. So let me show you this little chart I created to help you determine what are the number one money-making activities that you can spend your time on that will deliver a result to you. Check it out. Now that you've got your pen and paper handy, I want you to really think about what are the different activities that I can put forth every single day. This is a consistent thing, not a once in a while kind of thing. This isn't a thing that you do when you're struggling for the month. This is even something that you do if you're having a fantastic month, the best month in sales of your entire life. This is something that is a religion that you follow by, something you consistently do to raise your income and to build your book of business, no matter what kind of sales that you do. So while you have your pen and paper, what are the different activities that you can do in order to get in front of people or get into a conversation that could become a buying decision? What are the different activities? For me, from all my years in retail sales, the number one thing that I did to build my book of business and to strengthen my customer relationships was follow-up. I cannot overstate the importance of following up with every single person that you help, because the reality is, whether you sell cars or cell phones or fax machines or insurance or real estate, whatever it is you're selling, mortgages, whatever it is, following up with the people who've already done business with you is a lost art. Nobody's doing this anymore, right? And there's so many different ways that you can follow up. The number one way is pick up your cell phone and make a phone call. And call them and say, hey Joe, it's been a couple days since you bought that new fax machine. I just wanted to check in. How's it working for you? What questions do you have? How can I support you moving forward? Oh, well, Brandon, the fax machine's great. It's sending all my faxes with ease. I'm very happy with my purchase. Joe, that's great to hear it. Listen, I'm your guy. Give me a call whenever you need anything. I'm going to follow up with you again in about 30 days just to check in and make sure that fax machine is still running smoothly. All right, Brandon, thanks so much. Boop. That's it. That's the phone call. You've got to follow up with your people, because your people are your greatest asset. You could even send thank you letters, old-fashioned. Right? You might even be thinking, well, then I got to buy the letters. Then I have to put a stamp on it. Then I have to fill out the envelope. Listen, you can't spend enough time taking care of the people who've already bought from you, because we are in a very competitive marketplace. There's so many different places that someone could go to for whatever it is you sell. Listen, you're not unique. Right? You've got strengths and your product might be cool, but your customer could go to 20 different places to get the same thing, and I guarantee one of those people might do a better job than you. Not might, they will. Right? Someone will always do a better job, and the person who's doing the better job is generally following up with every single person, and they have a system in place to do so. Follow-up is going to be one of your greatest assets. Another way, in terms of activity, is by asking these follow-ups for what? You guessed it. Referrals. Once you get to a certain point in your sales business with your book of business, you're going to be able to get most, if not all, of your business from your return customers and the people that your return customers are sending to you. And the cool thing is, depending on what you do and what your company offers or what you're willing to personally offer, you can reward your customers for sending you referrals. You can reward them in a credit. You can reward them by sending them a gift, even just by giving them a call and thanking them and recognizing them for sending their friends and family your way. Referrals and your return customers are going to be your bread and butter. So how can you best take care of them? Now, aside from your past customers and referrals, how else can you bring in more business? Well, if you're in retail sales, the reality is a lot of businesses aren't going to be walking into the environment that you're in. A lot of people who are in business, such as the business owners and the decision makers, they're busy being in business. They're not generally going to the retail store to buy things. What if instead you called all of the businesses and the companies in your area and let them know about the special promotions that you have going on that you could help them with? Remember, everything has to be framed from the sense that you are adding value and serving and helping them. People are always wondering one thing: what's in it for me? Everything that you say has to be framed in a way where they understand they're getting the greater end of the stick when it comes to value. So when you reach out to these businesses, let them know about discounts you're offering. Let them know about exclusive promotions that will serve them with whatever kind of business they're in. But old school prospecting, pick up the phone, find out about all the businesses in your area, Google businesses in my area, and start making phone calls. 1 out of 20 of those businesses will want to do business with you, and you're only going to continue to get better as we move on. Another money-making activity is calling people who haven't done business with you yet, or even people who've done business with a past sales rep who no longer works with the company, or you're calling back the customers of somebody who is no longer with the company to pick up their list of leads. Calling your leads, calling people who need your services who might not have bought from you yet. This is what's known as your cold leads, people who haven't done business with you. But once you reach out to them, and listen, yeah, you're going to call them and you're going to get some people who don't want to talk to you, maybe even more than not, right? But that's okay, because we're looking for the one person out of 20 who does want what you're offering them. I can't tell you how many times I've called somebody on my list of leads when I was in telecommunications, and I found the happiest person who was happier than hell that I reached out to them and asked them if they wanted to buy my product, right? I always called and set an appointment. I didn't sell over the phone, but they were so happy that I reached out to them because they were actually in dire need of what I was offering them. And that's probably the same for you. And one of the last pieces of money-making activity that I'll give to you in this video, I go more into it on our other videos on this channel. So if you're new to this YouTube channel, we're dedicated to helping you earn more money, live a better life, live a functionally fit life, anything that's going to help you to live an extraordinary life. That's what we're uploading on this channel. So be sure to hit the subscribe button down here and hit the bell so that you see all new videos that we release every single week. And by the way, if you're getting value from this video, if you know it's going to help you to make more money, hit that like button so that this video gets shown to more people. The last money-making activity that I'll give you here, one that's heavily overlooked, one that no one's doing except the greatest salespeople, and they're probably great because of this: social media. You are a business. You are a personal brand. And rather than give you and go deep into this here, I made a video all about building your own personal brand and the importance of it right up here. So go check out that video. But you are your business, right? And the more you brand yourself in that way, the more you put yourself out there, the more successful in sales that you're going to be. And when you leave the company that you're currently working with and go somewhere else, you're going to be so valuable with customers who will follow you to the new place, because you are not the company you work for. You are your own company, a company of one. And the more you can build your brand, whether it's your Facebook profile or your LinkedIn profile, or even creating your own website where you can showcase what makes you unique, the more you can do that, the more you're going to bring people to you. Write this one down. You've got your pen and paper handy. Attention equals money. The more you can put yourself out there, the more noise you can create, the more value you can bring with that noise. It can't just be noise or you'll annoy people, right? The more value you can bring, the more money that will come to you. So imagine if you just created content to help people better understand your product. Why do you think I create these videos? Well, I love to educate you. I love to help you. But this is also a business. This is how I find more people who want to go deeper into these principles. They reach out to me. I work with them. I help coach them, and I help them to become better. And they invest, like the survival and lifestyle sheet we were talking about. They invest in their coaching, and they'd invest with me to help them become even greater at what they do. That's the power of social media. And the greater you can build your brand, the sooner you no longer even need to work for a different company or organization. Social media is a heavily underutilized tool that will make you thousands and thousands of dollars once you employ it. At this point, you've got 3 valuable strategies that you can use to be successful in any kind of sales that you're a part of. But knowing that you're on this video right now, you want to go even deeper into this. You want more strategies that you can employ right away in order to get a result. And because of that, I recommend you check out this video next, which is all about how to be successful in commission sales, which will take you to the next level of this learning. And until we talk again next time, continue to be better.